that it's very good whenever you in the city you have a competitive program that has a centralized leadership structure for both open and mixed and co-ed. So you're not having these teams that are changing names every year and captains that are changing. You actually have some real leadership that's kind of looking, as a player, you always want to win now. As a leader leading an organization, you want to think about the future, and you need that in order to do well. I think that one of the things that we might want to do for the juniors program, a lot of people think that we should combine teams to have a very strong Ontario team, and I don't agree with that. My preference would be to have something where, all of the different clubs in the GTA, there should be more than one junior team that's coming out of the GTA or Kitchener-Waterloo. I think we should try and grow the sport as much as possible, have as many players playing as possible. We can streamline them for Worlds bids later on.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Okay, let's switch our focus now here to the Open Finals, where we have Ulysee, number 1 seed in black, and then Phoenix from, well, I'm guessing you guys are from Ottawa.
From Ottawa, that's right.
And Ulysee, just very quickly, is the male half of Odyssey, and we just saw Calypso win the women's final. And so this Montreal team defeated Cube 14-12 in their semi. So really strong program there from Cube. And Cube had previously beat Maverick coming into before going to the semis. So it points to the Quebec City Open and women's teams being pretty strong. And then, of course, to Phoenix, which I'm going to turn it over to you, Stephen, from Ottawa.
Well, Phoenix has, at least since 2002, been one of the strongest teams to come to represent Ottawa. They've been Ottawa's number 1 team since the folding of WAX 2001-2002. They're having a very strong season. The team is kind of not really in the rebuilding phase. It's kind of in the rapidly improving stage. They've got some very good leadership with John Haig, Luke Phelan, and Scott Westwell. They've added some serious height with Neil Dawson, number 50, and they've had some very good results this year. So it's going to be a real challenge for them. They've played Odyssey already at the Cazenovia Ultimate Tournament in Syracuse, New York, and I think this is going to be an interesting final. I think the Phoenix, unlike in past years where they've had to go up against the likes of GOAT, they have a very real shot at winning this one. So I don't think they would want anything more other than a CUC victory. I think they would really like to win on home soil in front of all the fans that are watching from the hilltop and the beer tent.
All right, so we're about to get this game going. We heard a quick horn there. You'll see on the far side in black, and we have Phoenix, who'll be starting in white.
Yes. Oh, sure. Great.
So, pretty, as much as we see a little bit of drama and not, we've seen a lot of recurring themes at this tournament, and this is pretty common. We've had Phoenix defeat GT, I believe, or...
that's right. Phoenix defeated Grand Trunk on Universe Point in the semifinals. Grand Trunk got to the semifinals by defeating... Yeah. Grand Trunk got to the finals by defeating... Glum, Ottawa's Masters team, on Universe Point as well. Ulysee, which is the men's portion of the Odyssey mixed team, had a kind of an easier trip to the finals. They defeated Q by a score of 15-9, 15-10 in the semi, and they had got to there via bye. So they, based on their pool play, finishing number 1, they were able to have a bye to the finals. Thank you.
So we are presently sitting under the Ottawa Juniors tent, it appears, and they've been kind enough to keep lending it to us.
And based on the amount of heat that's coming from the sun today, we're very happy that they're allowing us to keep it. And we're very glad that you're watching with us for this final. So Phoenix in white, Ulysee in black.
So I'm just going to drop offline for a few moments because I have to untangle my cords and keep filming.
How's the response been? Good. How many people we got watching? Okay. Okay. Oh, excellent. Excellent. All right, so Montreal has the disc in the middle of the field. Isolation play underneath. Looking for a big long huck. Running deep. And here is the catch in the end zone. Montreal is up by 1.
Well, that's a quick long play immediately. The pull went out the back of the end zone. Always showing that they're not by too much either. So just showing that everyone is got the power to put it full field if they need to.
Great touch on that huck.
Yeah, that was just incredibly flat all the way, and especially with a little bit of crosswind. But we should also note that that was going downwind. So we should see a lot of action down at this end of the field, hopefully.
Now, of course, being part of a co-ed team, Odyssey men are missing. They needed some extra bodies, and they've been able to pick some up. There's Jean-Francois Mauger, who lives in Ottawa, originally from Quebec City, and played for Onyx at Worlds in Czech Republic. He's picked up with the team, and they've also picked up longtime player Lauren Beckman.
Old gentleman over there who normally he's been doing a lot of coaching, doesn't he? He coaches Storm.
He's been an extremely effective coach for Storm over the past couple of years.
He's also an observer, I believe.
Yes, part of the observer program. Very involved in the Ultimate community.
Won practically everything, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he's going to bring some experience to this team. And now we've got the disc in the hands of Phoenix. Great cut across. Colin Froats with the disc. Looking underneath, he gets it. Continue to move the disc on the sideline. Looks like there's a foul call.
So you can see that player just with the backwards hat, can't see the number quite there, but he just is completely poached off his man. There's 2 handlers here available in the middle of the field. Should be able to reset it fairly easily.
Oh. So it turns out that was a contested stall down. Observers have ruled, and it's now Montreal disc.
Observer's getting active in this game early, I guess.
Yeah. JF Mauger across the field. It's intercepted.
Miscommunication there.
Yeah. Hard lane cut by Bryce Ring. They managed to throw the break underneath. Bail cut up the line. Oh, great catch. Scotty Westwell to Bryce Ring. Bryce Ring to Carl Loiseau. Carl Loiseau.
It's a lot of poaching by this defense.
Loiseau looking. Makes a smart play over to Bryce Ring. Bryce Ring looking break to Scotty Westwell. Defense is tight on the line. Looking for Loisel again. It's not there. He gives it to Bryce Ring. Ring looks for Loiseau. Loiseau is just running side to side and getting open here. Nice throw, but it's not caught. Intended for Kenny Alexander, and Montreal will take the disc.
So we have a little bit of interesting D. If you look to the break side, or actually at the end of the stack, any time that Ulysee is playing D, you'll see a man poach out immediately.
JF Mauger, huck deep. It's caught on the end zone line. And there's the continuation for the point. Montreal has a 2-0 lead. So surprising turn of events on that point. Phoenix moving it down the field quite well, swinging it back and forth, and just a bit of a miscommunication between Carl Loiseau and Ken Alexander. And we've got a quick turn, quick huck. Montreal's up 2-0.
Yeah, that's not expected. I mean, that's 99 or 999 times out of 1,000, those guys are going to connect. Basically, what you saw there was the one time. That should have been a point, and it's just unfortunate that it wasn't. But it also shows going the other way that Ulysee has hucked it. I don't think Phoenix has hucked it so far. We're only 2 points into the game, but there's already been a lot of plays. So there's definitely a deep coverage that Ulysee is doing, playing deep, and whereas Phoenix is playing unders for the most part.
Yeah. I certainly like the idea of number 6 Carl running underneath. He seemed to have no problem getting open on that point. If he's got the energy to run, he's going to be able to run all game long if that matchup continues. I think it's so advantageous to have someone like that that can make the in cuts and give the free, easy passes to allow the offense to continue to run through him.
Yeah, we'll see if that pays dividends for Ulysee. So far, yes, they've gotten the turn, but that's not. They marched it up to the goal line up until then. I anticipate that it's going to be a lot tougher for them to be able to stop that and get the D.
So, Colin Froats throws it to Bryce Ring. Bryce Ring looking underneath for Matt Cole.
Bit of a junk D here.
Matt Cole to Colin Froats. Caught by Kenny Alexander. Alexander with a hammer over the top. It's caught. Oh, Bryce Ring open underneath. It's not there anymore, so he put it back into the middle of the field.
All right, they're gonna
Kenny Alexander with a hook. Oh, great defensive play. Montreal with a great bid, causing the turn. And they'll take possession. Scores 2-0 Montreal. You're watching the No Borders 2012 Open Final on IamUltimate.com. Here's a long huck. Comes down with it. Great receiver catch. Moving it along the end zone line, looking for that easy pass. Jean-Lévis Champagne with the grab. 3-0 Montreal, 3-0 Ulysee. Excellent offensive movement by Montreal on that play, Tushar.
I mean, their entire play is to set up for the huck. They are looking for the huck. They're playing well. They're playing like an open team, and as well as they should be. These are open players who just happen to play mixed usually. Timeout call here by Phoenix, and I think we've got, 2 timeouts per half here, Steven? So the entire setup play has been to go for hucks, and I think that's bitten Phoenix again. Is taking away the unders, no good deep coverage, and playing against veteran players. I mean, like Jean-Lévis Champagne and guys like that. These are very, very good players and very seasoned open players, and you can't keep giving the deeps.
At this level, the major ways to get open and to be able to throw those big hucks are either you have to have a break throw to someone who then catches it and has the opportunity to throw, or you have to have some quick movement on transition. Because when you have you're on offense and you force the turnover, it's hard to sometimes set up to be able to prevent those big hucks. And that's exactly what Montreal has done in both the last 2 points. They've been able to get the D and then have a couple of quick passes followed by a big throw. And I think that really says a lot about the way that they like to move the disc and move fast and play fast.
Yeah, the other thing they've been doing is they've been swinging it very wide, and the Phoenix player has been poaching off towards the middle of the field at that time. Now, with that middle poach that's going off there, that means you can get that deep. You can get that deep huck off at any time that you want, and they have been. Perhaps a bit tighter D on those swings. Just staying closer to the man, don't go for that upfield block there would actually help them, but then you end up with a problem with them being able to just move it. Well, actually, because they're playing unders, that should work better.
One of the things about having such 2 very strong teams in the finals is the score is 3-0, but by no means does that mean that this game is over. Phoenix is a very strong, skilled team, and I would assume that their thinking is not of panic, and they're thinking of let's just focus, let's dial it in, let's get the point here, and let's see where the rest of the game goes.
Yeah, as you said, Phoenix is a very good team. This is 3-0. They've called a timeout. Essentially, they're playing from 0-0, and they need to get 3 breaks.
Yep.
They'll also be, I believe, receiving in the second half, so they should be fairly comfortable going into the second half.
Christian Mathieu with the pull, I believe. And as expected, it's a big one. Deep, true, but caught by Phoenix. Bryce Ring with the disc. Luke Phelan with the catch. He looks outside. He throws to Bryce Ring. Bryce Ring, great up the line cut, being guarded by JF Moget.
It's great break movement.
Yeah. Oh, jump ball. Oh, great grab.
There's no instant pass there, but that was it's good open ultimate there.
And the catch is made. Carl Ulysee with the catch.
You know what? They did create the turn, though. Odyssey did create the turn there, and that's pointing to some pretty sloppy offense right there by Phoenix. Now, I could say that this might be the first example, but it's not. We've seen this 2-3 points now.
Yeah.
Where they've had that one pass and that opportunity that Ulysee hasn't created, but has been given to them.
Yeah. And over time, over the game, they're going to be able to convert on a couple of those chances if they continue to come up. Agreed. What surprised me was the movement was quite good there for a while, and then it seemed like there was a bit of a stall, which forced that big throw, that awkward throw to come up.
Yeah, what happened is that we got to that line, and then we had 2 breaks out from under that line, and then there was no continuation there. And what had happened was I believe that the rest of the team was expecting continuation, and they were stuck in a vertical. One player had cut to the break and didn't reset. As soon as he didn't reset, we had that issue. We had that, movement just stopped.
So now we're looking at Phoenix's D-line here. We've got some very, very experienced and capable people. We've got Matt Goodkey, we've got Dan Turco, we've got Matt Hogel, Matt Cole, Reynaldo Ray Arteaga.
He graduated earlier this year, I believe.
Yes, he's actually moving to SFU. So for those of you in Vancouver that are looking to recruit an extremely strong player with Team Canada experience, Ray will be moving to the West Coast in the fall. Throw by Andy Corey, a nice pull, and Montreal sets up from the middle of the field.
Bit of a short stack there.
Yeah. Oh, nice effort by Jean-Lévi Champagne, but unfortunately wasn't able to come up with the disc.
That was a good lead. I think he just was one stop too late in his start.
Yeah. So Phoenix's D-line takes the disc. Ogle over to the sideline for Andy Corey. Corey to Arteaga. Oh. Looks like a foul. Might also be out of bounds at the point of contact.
Now, viewers, if you were watching the play there, there are 2 bids on the disc there. I wonder which one they're calling the foul on. And both were significant pressure. So it'll be interesting to see what Ken here does. We have 4 observers for this final. We had 2 for the previous one, but they brought all 4 over here now. As there are no other finals going on right now, I believe, other than maybe juniors, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Mix is already done. We'll get you a score on that. And
when was the time for the semifinal for the mixed side? Is it right now? Is it taking place right now?
The final was already done.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the last game there.
Up the line, Ray Arteaga on the end zone line, looking for something. Up the line. That catch is made, and Phoenix has scored to make it 3-2.
It's a great point for Phoenix to come back there and work it up the field.
And by no means are Tushar and I prophets or soothsayers, but we did say that, at that timeout, this game by no means was over. They just simply needed to dial it in, get that easy point, and get a D point. So 3-2, it's a 1-point game, and now we've got an interesting final ahead of us again.
Ulysee has regrouped there very quickly. Just a quick meeting in the middle of the pitch, and then right back. They're definitely looking like they're getting ready for whatever Nationals throws their way.
Yeah.
They're all focused, and this is good to see. The women were equally focused, and this is by far the toughest game of the tournament. The number 1 and number 2 seeds right now playing off, for No Borders.
Yep, for the No Borders title. And I think for the sake of the final, I think it's this is the first year in a while that who's going to win is really completely unknown. There's been some very strong teams that have come in, like the Moondoggies and Goat in the past couple of years that have been strong from start to finish. But this one is going to be we really anticipate this match to be close right to the very end.
Yeah, I think it's great that we're having this close game at this point in time. We'll see what actually ends up happening.
Phoenix with a pull. Great pickup off the bounce by Montreal.
And we've got a switch back to man here after zone for what it looked like 3 or 5.
Oh, man, great effort. Montreal with the disc in the middle of the field. JF Moje with the disc, and he's been fouled. Looks like Ryan Bauer with the foul on JF Moje.
Everyone's on the break side of the field right now for this throw. Some sort of conversation in the middle of the field right now. It's being resolved, and so Observer will not be getting involved in this.
Yep. Coming in, Montreal possession on the sideline, looking to bail. JF Moje open once again. He's moving. Oh, he was going up the line there, but there was a call.
Possibly a pick, travel, something has been going on here.
Yeah.
I believe there was a pick call, and that's what they said before the throw, but another pick.
This is some confusion with this this Ulysses team in terms of creating space for one another. It's led to a couple of picks early, but I'm sure they'll get it sorted out.
They're setting up very close. Sloppy.
Sure.
Sloppy. And that was, I believe, a full receiver error. I mean, it went up there. There were 2 receivers there. Neither of them knew what they wanted to do with it.
Here's some disc move from Phoenix. Andy Corey up into the end zone. Caught by John Haig for the point.
It's a great comeback here by Phoenix right at the start of the game. We are at 0-0. Momentum has shifted. And we are looking at a tie game.
Essentially 0-0, but there's 2 different ways to look at it. If you're Montreal, you're going to try and say, well, yeah, it's 0-0. Let's just play. We know what we can do. If you're Phoenix, you have to be really happy that you've scored the last 3 points.
Yeah, a 3-0 run. Really good. I guess everyone could say that's really good, especially when you're going to come back after that rocky start. Now, I don't believe there's been a timeout call here. Nope, Ulysee are just going to go for it from here. And that's great at this time to see that sort of confidence from a team and continued confidence. There was a setup for the Huck. There was movement. It was basically a bit of uncertainty in the middle of the field. And a Phoenix player didn't have to really extend himself to get to that. It basically came to him because it went between 2 players who slowed up. So we're in for finals here, but let's actually see, because Phoenix has has been quite strong on their D-line here now.
Well, we've got team captain Luke Phelan addressing his players before the poll comes. He's trying to give them some advice on what to look for, what they're going to try to be doing. It's so important for the entire D-line to work together in order to cause a D. On this particular D-line point, they've got Neil Dawson, number 50, who adds a tremendous amount of height. So we might look for a bit of a junk zone to start off the play. Or maybe he's out there in particular for a one-on-one matchup with some of their taller players on Montreal.
Yeah, as you said, they've gone with the zone. But Neil's playing deep D.
Neil is the deep. Oh, bit of an opening underneath. They close it off. Jean-Lévis Champagne with the disc. He's got the big throw. He puts it up the space. Can they get back? No. Montreal with the catch. And it's now 4-3 for Montreal.
That's a big point for the offense there. They've been broken quite a few times there. For them to get back rolling now. It's a good move.
What a great throw by Jean-Lévis Champagne. He has such a great step out on his forehand flick. He's got such a nice touch to it.
When these guys are sitting here on the sideline here yakking up with us, they don't look that large, especially Jean-Lévis. I mean, compared to some of the other guys like Ray, he looks pretty much the same here on the sideline. But out on the field right now,
he's playing big is what you're saying?
He's playing big, and he is a big guy. Not only to play or to see, but to actually cover on the field. He can just muscle you out of the way. And all that experience lets him know that's where he can throw it from, extended wide out. Get a bit of a crowd here starting to set up, not on the sideline, but more in that fenced area over there where you can purchase beer.
Particularly impressive considering the fact that many teams are still playing their games and yet we still have a crowd. So what that means is that there's a lot of people who have decided either finish early or they've decided to, even when they're not playing, to come down and watch the action here, which is great. And we welcome people that are here in person, and we welcome you, all the viewers that are watching on for the online stream today.
The pole went out of bounds. It looked good initially and just didn't curl back in. I think he might have lost some grip there on the pole. Kind of looked like a little bit of a spin.
An errant disc came onto the field there and connected with the disc. It's kind of a surprising play. The disc, nice break throw to Luke Phelan. He's wide open on the break side. He's looking for the continuation. Here's his amazing backhand pass. Oh, great touch, Luke Phelan. And we talked about Jean-Lévis' forehand on the last play. Well, Luke Phelan has a very, very nice backhand, and he put some great touch on the back of the end zone for that throw.
Yeah, big defensive failure there by Ulysee. They were setting up their vertical coverage there, and normally you'd be a little bit tighter there, but no one on the break side. We saw that. That break pass went through, and that entire side of the field sat empty for 3-4 stall counts. I think we've got Ulysee really has got to pick up the D here, and they have to continue to convert on offense if they have any shot at this game.
I think that's a great idea. That's a great comment because it's not going to be easy for them based on Phoenix's speed. They have great team speed from top to bottom, so they got to make sure Ulysee has to make sure that they score on their points and are use their big throws and continue to try and use some junk and some good individual plays in order to keep them honest on offense. But I think that we're in for a very, very interesting final. Currently have a score of 5-4?
4-4?
4-4?
I believe, especially with that Phoenix point, because we're all on even ground. Now, yes, I'd like to just clarify our comments. Yes, it seems very John Madden-esque to say, oh, they have to keep converting and they have to get some defensive turns. Now, it's a momentum shift we're looking at right now in this game. Early on in the game, when Phoenix got those 3 breaks, it was easy. There was no pressure anywhere on that. And Phoenix came back and just put a lot of pressure, and you've seen those, any huck, any throw, there's been a lot of pressure on it. So the Phoenix D has improved substantially. It's a different game. that Ulysee has to play against right now. And that's what we're looking at, is that those comments are taken with that into account.
So we've got Montreal with the disc on the sideline. Nice hammer throw over the top. Movement into the middle of the field. Nice upfield pass. Now he's looking for continuation. Back on the dump. Phoenix doing a good job. Nice give and go there from Montreal. Looking for the huck. Goes underneath. Smart play.
Foul call. You can see lots of pressure right now. They're looking for the huck every single time. But Phoenix has switched to a deep mark as well.
Dan Turcotte, good underneath defense. He makes the switch. That means his guy is wide open. Matt Goodkey seems to be arguing there might be a down, a 10-second call. Right now, the observer weighing in on it. And it looks like it's gone Montreal's way.
Lots of continued pressure here, and it's good to see that sort of pressure.
Oh, unenforced turn right there. Classic case of thrower putting it out there and the receiver not knowing it was coming, unfortunately. So, Phoenix will now take the disc. Score is 4-4. Disc into the middle of the field to Dan Turco. Nice pass to Andy Corey. He's looking downfield. Nice throw underneath. Dan Turco with the disc. Oh, he looks like he may have been stepped on right there, so he's taking an injury pause right now. Dan, one of the harder workers and most liked players, both with the Quebec teams that he used to play for and in Ottawa with Phoenix. In the middle to Ray Arteaga. Ray with a great fake up the line. John Haig with the disc. Picked up. And it's caught and in. And Phoenix takes a 5-4 lead.
That's a great break play there, all the way by Phoenix. Once again, that pressure came. And the pace of the disc just a little bit different. There's a long stoppage. Ulysee got into a little bit of a lull, and they didn't know what to necessarily do after that. The disc was moved, quick pop. In fact, the disc was moved by the handler there a little bit early. The rest of the team didn't even move. So there's some communication issues. It might be because of the pickups. It might be that they're just not all synchronized, and they have to get synced up here, especially down a break. And I apologize, the score is wrong right there. I'll just update it right now. It is actually 5-4 for Phoenix. Montreal
has a quick get together in the middle of the field there, as they often do with their co-ed team, and they're looking, at just kind of getting things back on track on this point, working it up the field nice and easily, making sure that you've got the eye contact before you make throws, and if they tie it up, I mean, they're going to have a little bit of momentum going forward.
Yeah, they need to get this point right now, otherwise Phoenix is going to be just take the game and start rolling.
When you look at the individual players on this line, I mean, they have a lot of experience. They have, some of them have won national championships with Mephisto. They've done well as a mixed team, so they've got a lot of swagger. I mean, they're not going to be easily deterred by being down by a point, so let's look for them to rebound quickly. JF Moget picking up the pull.
It's a great deep pull there.
Yeah. Interesting throw. Deed. Alex Bush. Great throw. Dan Turco with the grab. 6-4 Phoenix.
A great play by Alex there. Just a great heads-up play to go after that and put himself in that cluster. And get that D. And of course, he's one of, I believe, the Firebird players who's come up and playing Phoenix now.
That's right. Interesting choice of throws for the Montreal team on that one that led to the turnover.
Now, I believe that was a stall 7 or 8 bail that went up. They had no choice. They got trapped in that end zone there. That initial throw should have come out a little bit wider to the middle of the field.
Right.
So they would have had the break options. But Phoenix just played hard unders there, didn't give anything up. And Ulysee set up their short stack again. With that short stack that they've been getting picked on in the center of the end zone, in the center of the field, there was basically no room. You could just play zone around it, and that's what Phoenix did. So they really need to adjust here. 6-4. Game's completely swung the other way, Steven. Completely swung.
But it's really hard to believe after such a quick start by Montreal being up 3-0. I mean, we were really hoping that Phoenix would be able to, keep pace with them, but they've done more than that. They've managed to tie up, and they've had a number of breaks thus far.
And there's a lot of confidence now. This has changed. They're changing their swagger. This Phoenix team.
Yeah. Really, one of the big things that they can do as a team is maybe they're not the biggest team per se, but they have a lot of speed, and so they can put a lot of time pressure on both on the mark and on the cutters. They make life difficult for you because they're going to run really hard, and they're going to make you run really hard if you want to get open and get the disc.
Zone again.
Yeah. Hammer over the top, which leads to a turnover. Zone doing what it's supposed to do.
There was a bit of misstep there by that wide cutter or handler there.
Yeah.
And the hammer just didn't turn.
Ryan Bauer with a throw over to Ray Arteaga. Ryan Bauer with the disc. Nice pass to Ray Arteaga for the point. Phoenix now leads by a score of 7-4.
Yeah, they need to. Ulysee need to really mix up their O-line right now, and they need to. They need to get those breaks. First, they need to just score. I mean, we're looking right now that it might end up being 8-4, which is.
Well, you never know until the point is scored.
You never know, but right now, Phoenix. One of the nice things about Phoenix is once they have confidence,
yes,
they just start rolling.
Yep.
And it's very hard of any team that I've played against to break that confidence. It's when Phoenix is down though, and had their adjustment at 3-0 not worked,
yeah,
we would be looking at a probably have reached halftime with Ulysee by now, and maybe at an 8-2 game.
Yeah, we might be looking at something similar to the GOAT semifinal last year at CUC. Yeah. So, but I think that's common for a lot of teams, especially a team that has a lot of young players. I mean, when we look on that scoring point there, we're looking at Ray Arteaga and Ryan Bauer. We're still looking at guys that are under the age of 23, 24. So with those guys, the ebb and flow of their confidence goes up and down quite quickly, and as opposed to some of the more experienced teams. So I think Montreal should really look for some of their more experienced guys to kind of carry the load on this point to make sure that they score it and they keep in the game. And I think they've done that with the play call with Reynald Nemours and Jean Levy out there, Christian Mathieu, some very, very experienced handlers with the disc.
Yeah, it's a good call to try and get a power line out just to ensure, but it's just the calmness. There's a little bit of nerves on the throws, or just they just didn't have the adjustment there on the wide both times.
The last 2 points, I mean, we've had the first or second throw turnover. So if Phoenix comes down with the zone again, they're going to have to find a way to work around it.
Yeah, I think we're going to be in for a good match here if that confidence can come back. But we'll chat a little bit more about confidence later on.
Sure.
And then just compare it to a few other teams that we know of. Plenty of other games going on right now. In the third place match, we have, looks like Q versus
Grand Trunk.
Grand Trunk. And that's also GT. Like as I talked about, a lot of common matchups we've seen. GT versus Phoenix. Normally, especially in the last few years, it's gone the other way.
Pull from Phoenix. Well played by Montreal off the bounce once again. Yep. Matt Berg with the mark.
And I've gone back to a man. And there's been a call.
Some sort of call on the field.
Interesting to jump over the player that was down rather than call a pick.
Ken Lang, one of the dedicated observers. He's usually leads the observer clinic at No Borders for Ultimate Canada.
A late foul call resets the throw, or the count.
Up the line throw, big huck coming, and not caught. Phoenix with a chance. Transition on offense here. One of the things I've liked about Phoenix's game thus far is they haven't tried to play the big man huck game. They've tried to go underneath and use their speed. I think that's really to their advantage.
Players look a little bit more tired now. Starting to have a few more of those calls come out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hands on knees.
I see underneath. Oh,
Hand blocked by
turnover.
Jean-Lévy.
Hand block, I believe, by Jean-Lévy on that throw, or maybe it just was turfed.
No, that's a hand. That was a hand block there.
Okay.
He had that initial fake, and Jean-Lévy didn't adjust to it, and then Jean-Lévy adjusted to it the second time through.
Oh, big throwaway by Montreal. Just trying to go up the line. That's always a tough throw to make.
Giving Ray a bit more experience there handling at the back.
Yeah. Ray with a great fake and then throw to the break side. Matt Berg, number 2 for Phoenix, looking for it. He's a great deep striker. And Ray with an uncharacteristic throwaway. That was a difficult cross-field pass, and he wasn't able to complete the pass. It was short of the receiver. Montreal now takes it. Christian Mathieu, very active upfield. Seems to be some sort of call. It's very tense. The crowd is very quiet right now. Crucial point. Back to the middle of the field. Throws it right back. Quick disc movement. Christian Mathieu with the disc. And the point, Montreal.
That's they've come up with a point here, but that was not a clean point.
No.
Once again, good D by Phoenix, and good D going the other way as well. But it was more a little bit of. I would say they had 2 turns. Phoenix turf one, and they got the hand block on the other one.
Mm-hmm.
One of them they earned. The other one, yeah, as you said, Ray's throwaway. It's still not a clean game. That was a tough long point. Their deeps didn't connect that one. I think that's their first huck in this game that hasn't connected.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely shows that Ulysee not at the same pace, I think, that they were early in the game.
I think that was, obviously that was a crucial point, because that could have been an 8-4 game as opposed to now we've got a 7-5 score. And I think that for Phoenix, I mean, it's a little disappointing that you caused the turnovers, but you weren't able to capitalize. So that was that point. It's time to regroup. Let's see how they do on this one, and let's see if Montreal can ride that momentum from that point.
Strong O-line here. Tall O-line from Phoenix. Taller than normal.
We've got Scott Westwall on the line, Colin Froats, Luke Phelan, Ken Alexander, Bryce Ring, Leon Forceneau, and Carl Loiseau. Who wants up? JF Mosier on the mark on Bryce Ring. Goes it over to Leon. To Bryce Ring. Up the line. Big flick throw. Luke Phelan with the disc on the line to Carl Loiseau for the point. With the disc spike.
Great huck there.
Yeah.
Went up the line. Way to lead.
Throw.
I felt like Bryce could have. It was Bryce that caught that, right, Stephen?
It was a Bryce Ring huck.
Okay.
And it was caught by Luke Phelan. And then the continuation throw into the end zone was Carl Loiseau.
Yeah, it felt like it could have been milked into the end zone a little bit more.
Yeah.
And there also seemed to be a little bit of uncertainty, which we'll look at when we look at this in post.
Okay.
When that actual flick went up. It was almost a double fake pump, and just seemed to be something going on there that didn't look quite comfortable. But here we are, half, 8-5.
Who has stood out for you, Tushar, so far in the game for both sides?
I think, on the Ulysses side, it's been quite a bit of Jean Levy has definitely made, and the big guys there, Christian as well. They've continued to play a major part. The handlers, I would say that they've stood out, but mostly in a negative light for Ulysses. There's been more mix-ups here than I would expect from them in an entire tournament. Normally they're so solid, and this has just been a bit too messy,
right?
I believe, for my taste.
What about on the Phoenix side? Who's really stood out in terms of playing well for you?
I think Phoenix, it's been a big team effort. The usual suspects have been there, like Luke and Ray, and they've played their parts. I think Ray has nullified his advantage in my eyes with that throwaway, but the other players have just been connecting, working well. I think as the line that stands out for me most from this Phoenix side has got to be the D line.
Yeah.
That D line to come back from 3-0 and now to be up 8-5 to completely swing that other way. I mean, that's a 6-point swing from your D line.
The big thing too is that they were able to overcome that early deficit with the D line, and it was like you said, it was a team effort because it wasn't the same 7 guys going out over and over again. If that was the case, then in the second half you're wondering, are these guys going to be able to finish off if you're playing point after point after point? I mean, they're interchanging at least 4 or 5 different handlers, and they're using a lot of different cutters. So these guys are going to be fresh in the second half. Yeah, we'll see how they do, but it's nice that they're able to have such a deep roster.
Yeah, and it's good for a home game, especially with a very positive home crowd right now. So I think if you look at the crowd, definitely pro Ottawa all around. When was the last time that Phoenix won No Borders?
The last time that Phoenix won No Borders was 2008.
Okay, so it's been a long time coming.
Yes.
If they manage to hang on to this, 7 more points.
Yeah.
And they've got it. And Stella won No Borders?
Stella won No Borders in 2010.
Okay, so this would be a little bit of drought for Phoenix at their home tournament. And this would be a good win for them. A little bit of a difference in strategy here at halftime as well. Phoenix meeting in the shade just a little bit to our left. Ulysses staying out on the field, still looking relaxed, but the core, and you can see there's several groups out there that are meeting independently to try and figure a few things out. It's definitely pockets of different players, almost in groups of 4.
Yep.
And that might point to their 4-on-4 program, or just might point to groups of handlers and cutters and on the different lines.
Right.
But definitely a different mentality from both of the two teams in how they're meeting and discussing. Short half here, though, so I'm going to just very quickly chat about, say, teams that do comebacks. Teams that do comebacks when they're down, that are confident. It comes to mind easily any elite team. If you're talking like a Furious or a GOAT would definitely do it. Phoenix has demonstrated that they can come back from 0-3, but at the same time, in previous years, they've shown a lot of issues with coming back from any deficit later in the game and refocusing, maybe because of youth, maybe because of other reasons. Do you think as this team is getting older, that's going to change, or are you going to lose players?
I think that the whole concept of like how teams can do. I mean, there's obviously on a year-to-year basis, Phoenix's talent level is going to change based on who's playing or who's coming up or who's retired. I think that when you talked about Furious and their confidence level, one of the things that really impressed me was that in the CUC finals when they were down by a couple of points, I really liked the way that they hunkered down, played man-to-man, played tough, and they were able to come out. And a lot of people would say, oh, well, maybe it was because the other opponent didn't play so well. I think they still played very well. I think the big thing is Furious, has that mentality, has that leadership that they have experience kind of stepping up and playing in those tough situations. And I see a little bit of that in Phoenix today with the way that they were down 3-0 and they were able to come back.
Yeah, I think this This upcoming CUC is going to be pretty big and important considering Furious is going to be there. And this will be a real chance for Phoenix to see if they can match up and continue developing that local Ottawa program.
Well, unfortunately, Phoenix won't be going.
Or Phoenix isn't going, sorry.
No, they're not going, so. And I'm not sure if Goat will be going as well. But we've started the second half play.
Yep, so Goat's not going as well. Jack McDonald has joined us, who will be one of the camera people at in the future and has been a camera person, has joined us, but not on microphone.
This gets swung over the sideline. Colin Froats to Leon Forrest, no. Leon looking for something offline. Goes to the dump. Bryce Ring, great dump. Cut. Looking, break. Scott Westwell with a nice grab. Looking again to go break. Nothing there. Good defense. Goes outside to Kenny Alexander. Ken Alexander. Up line. Scott Westwell. That's a tough throw, but it's caught by Scott Westwell. Thank you, Scott Westwell, for that nice little grab, says Kenny Alexander. And Phoenix takes the first point after half. We now have a score of 9-5.
Yeah, great for them to come out of half there and really not have any issues with their offense. There was, again, a little bit of a lull there on their breaks, on their break side, right? No coverage again. But Ulysee doing the switch man coverage that they were doing previously, and it's putting pressure. I think they need to continue doing that. They're doing a great job switching, and they were getting turns when they were doing the switches. They stopped doing those switches, and seems to be having a little bit of issue again from that point of. So we'll see if their O-line here can convert now. This is big. If Phoenix gets this one, it'll be a 10-5 game and virtually no chance for Ulysee to come back. You're going to start running into some issues there with fitness, given that they've got a shorter line as well.
So on this D point, on the near end, we're looking at Ray Artiega that will be starting for Phoenix, along with number 27 Scott Higgins, Andy Corey, Matt Goodkey, Carleton University product, has been playing several years with Phoenix, Matt Hogel, John Haig.
So offside call there. Ken has called that offside on Phoenix, it appears. And that's their first warning.
First warning, so they get a redo, I guess.
They get a redo, and then the next time it happens, Ulysee would get it in the middle of the field. And yeah, it's just all sorts of issues.
You can lose a timeout as well, I believe. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But they have to, teams really have to start looking at this and start practicing. So this is good practice to have observers here.
Yep. Great pull by Andy Corey.
Arguably a better second pull than the first one. Zone here as well. It looks like they're going to be switching Swoon to a man, and that's right there. They've switched.
So Montreal continuing to move the disc. Jean Levy-Champagne with his big flick hook. It's going to be a jump ball in the end zone.
And a foul has been called as well.
Scott Higgins now discussing with the Montreal player about whether or not that was a foul.
Both observers with a great view on that. We had a great view on that as well, Stephen. What do you think?
Well, I think that was a tough one. There might have been a play on the disc. It certainly was hanging up there, and Scott Higgins actually made contact with the receiver at the point that he was about to jump up, which may have. Not sure what his vertical jump would have looked like at that point, but they've made a decision to move it back to the thrower, and I think that's fair because it really wasn't the most obvious foul call, and I think both sides are okay with it going back to the thrower.
Yeah, it's a 3-on-3, and it's in many ways in concession by both teams. That they haven't gone to the observer there is that the offense agreed it might not have been, and the defense agreed it might have been. Andrew Batchelor here to our left, indicating to the crowd that's gathered the follies of the decision in that huck.
We want to thank Andrew for all of his work for the tournament with the scheduling and the seeding for the teams.
Indeed, it's pretty tough to get all of these teams in on a location. And as many fields as you might have here at UPI.
Here's a big throw, looking deep. Oh, nice effort, but too far.
Yeah, it's a little too blady there with that throw.
Yeah.
Sorry we didn't get that on camera for that. I was still a little bit distracted.
Matt Hogle will now pick up the disc. He's proudly wearing a Dalhousie University hat. He played with the Dalhousie team for several seasons. Matt Goodkey. Oh, if
he throws that, he's traveled. And there's no call.
Okay. I don't think I think the travel call was made because he may have been bumped off by the Montreal player as well. Goodkey looking long. That's got a lot of juice on it, and it falls
little too low.
Little too long and a little too hard.
I think for my personal taste, needed just a little bit more float. But many players like to throw a flat. I like to throw a somewhat higher throw that falls at the end and settles. And there we go. Set up again.
Another throw that maybe could be a little flatter and have a little bit more float time.
Yeah, Ray punches the ground there, knowing that just came out a little bit too early.
Yep.
And as you said, it's just a matter of touch right now.
Yeah. Here's a big throw, Andy Corey. Caught. Not in the end zone yet. Ray Arteaga on the sidelines. Throw out. Oh!
There's absolutely no need to lay out that early. However, that player's on the field, and we have a little bit of a disadvantage of looking at basically a 2D picture. We don't have any depth from this distance, so.
We also don't know how his lungs are feeling on that point. Quite a long point, too.
It's
not that I want to make too many excuses, but.
No, it's a good game, though, so far. We're still sitting at 9-5. Ulysee calls timeout sitting on their own line. Still lots of time. Open games tend to run a little bit faster, so you don't necessarily run into time caps as often. So we should be able to get to 15 on this and still have plenty of time for Ulysee to catch up. However, if you look at it, big hole for Ulysee. They have to score 10 to win. Phoenix have got to score 6.
Do we have any commentary that's coming from the viewers that are watching right now?
I'm going to check. I suspect not, because they're just enthralled by this. And I think also at the same time they might be a little bit more interested in mixed as to what's going on. It seems almost all the open players are probably at this tournament. However, if I may, a shout out to Andrew Ray, who recently had a daughter, I believe. So congrats, Andy.
Is that Andrew from Maverick?
Yeah. Yep, Andrew from Maverick of previous years. So it's a dilemma that I face as well. It's that eventually you're going to have kids, and then do you stop playing? And I'm sure Jack will say no.
Congratulations to Andrew. Welcome to the new club. I also have a 3-month-old, and good luck in your next captaining experience.
Ray there with a great D.
And here's a throw to Ray in the end zone. Caught for the point.
Bookends for Ray there. He keyed in on that D directly off the start on that horizontal wide cut. And just absolutely fantastic to see coming from the young player there.
It's now 10-5 for Phoenix over Ulysee.
Ulysee now need a big adjustment. Big defensive adjustment, not even really anything else. Actually, I'll take that back. I think they need to make a big offense and defense adjustment. It isn't just one thing that's going wrong for them. There are a lot of things going wrong for them.
Well, there seems to be chances on both sides. I mean, there's been turnovers from both teams, but the big problem for Ulysee is they haven't been capitalizing on offense, and they don't want to get themselves in a situation where they're making a lot of turns they need to start scoring their points quite quickly, and they need to continue to force Phoenix to make those 1 or 2 errors every point.
Yeah, and it's, as you said, by no means is Phoenix not making errors.
Yeah.
Phoenix is making errors. In fact, Phoenix, it's expected that they make errors, but Phoenix's D-line is that good.
So Montreal with yet another strong offensive line here. I've been really impressed with the play of Jean-Francois Mauger, who has been added to this team to help out on the weekend. He's a very strong player. Currently lives in Ottawa. Lots of experience playing in Quebec with Onyx.
A quick zone that's coming out and back in the man as expected. We got a few extra moves there, but
Here's a big hawk.
and a delayed run.
Oh, wow. Wow. That disc traveled.
What happened there is that when he moved it forward on the field and he got the dump was half a second too late, and it was also flipped to him with a push pass rather than just a direct pass into his running direction. And that change there meant that he couldn't get his flick huck off. Injury
Looks like there's
or
some sort of
foul?
injury.
But it's a bit of laziness on dump that I feel caused that throwaway. Yes, the decision to make that throw was wrong, and Andrew Batchelor will likely say he shouldn't have thrown that. He's not saying that, but he would say something like that. Jack also pointing out there was a cut that came on the right side that he looked off, but it got cut off. Really, it seems to be they're just looking for the deep here, not looking to move it at all, and that's not a good mode for a team to be in.
Well, especially considering they're not able to. The wind has sort of picked up here, and some of the hucks haven't been floating out there. So, if you're going to be using the huck game, it's got to be working for you, or else you've got to make some adjustments quickly.
It's a foul
Looks like
called on
there's
that.
a foul called. And let's give Phoenix some credit. They're playing in front of a home crowd, quite large on both sides of the field here. And they haven't given in to the temptation to throw long on every point. They've been grinding it in underneath and scoring points. And it's sometimes hard to do when you have a lot of friends and family that are watching you. That was a throwaway on an attempted break throw. The wind pushing in that direction, and the disc caught and went out of bounds. So now Montreal is on offense, trying to get back into this game.
Now we feel the wind up here in the commentary area probably 5 to 10 seconds after it actually affects the field. So we'll be able to tell you how strong it is a few seconds later. It's started gusting a little bit though.
Yeah, you can notice by the flag on the sideline. Montreal moving the disc, but there seems like there's been a pick call by Matt Cole. They're discussing it. Were you close enough to me? Yes, no. Oh, he's being able to retain possession. Flip pass over to the break side.
Another pick call.
Another pick call.
I'm not a fan of that flip pass. I'm a fan of it if it's a leading flip pass that's going in that direction, that they're already there, or it's very close.
Montreal moving backwards a little bit on the sideline. The force is middle though, so they have a lot of field to work with right now.
I really feel like a hammer would be the play that would work here.
Wow, D play, Matt Cole. A very nice one.
A little bit too easy there. It felt like he didn't have to lay out or anything.
Yeah, it was
Just ran onto it. So again, handlers from Ulysee.
Ryan Bauer moves quickly, picks up the disc. Looking underneath. Here's Goodkey, Matt Goodkey with the disc. He's been fouled. They're going to discuss it a little bit. There's a difference of 5 points in the score, but both teams are playing very intense, and that's what the crowd wants to see.
Timeout called there by Phoenix. Yeah, you said it's an intense game and a difference of 5 points in score, but that intensity, it's not paying off for Ulysee. Their intensity might be there, but their handlers are just messing up royally. Whereas the Phoenix is defensively a good team. So I believe that we are going to be looking at, again, a set play as expected both sides. I don't know if we can anticipate any sort of change from the Ulysses side here, the transformation. If you notice, running across your screen at some point there with a lot of water was Lorne. And as mentioned by some of the people here on the sideline, he is called him a water boy. But that is your role on the sideline, is to make sure your team gets what they need. Ellen Crawford pointing out everyone on the sideline is a water boy. Andrew and Ellen playing with Tabasco this season. Going to be heading to nationals? No. Not as players.
Going to have some fun.
Ellen is an observer. But we're back into the game now here, Steve.
Yep. Phoenix break throw, Ryan Bauer. Ryan looking underneath. Taken away by JF Moget. Moget applies the nice break throw by Bauer. Here's a throw into the end zone. Alex Bush. And he's called in. Alex Bush with the catch. Maintains possession. Keeps his feet in. And it's now 11-5 for Phoenix.
That's Ken's right there. He made a good call. You know, I think we were all watching the sideline of that from up here. It's very close to our commentary position. That was in. Of course, it would be very interesting should we get to the replay and it wasn't in. So Phoenix here 11-5. Now, very quickly, I'm going to ask Steven, do you remember what the score was going into the into halftime?
I believe the score in halftime was 8-5.
Okay, 8-5. So it's now 11-5.
That's right.
That means Phoenix has gone 3-0 in the second half at this point in time.
That's right.
It's points to some serious issues here with the Ulysee guys, or the Odyssey guys. Obviously, you know, it'll be a different story when they're at nationals, when they have a different set of players, et cetera, et cetera. But basically, almost going on a 4 or 5-0 run right now, Phoenix.
And that's if you don't count the 3-0 start that Montreal had. I mean, then we're looking at a case of an 11-2 game since those first 3 points were scored for Montreal. So clearly, the momentum is heavily in Phoenix's favor. And but I turn the question over to you, Tushar, on in terms of in the first half. I didn't really think that the play was that lopsided one way or the other. But it seems like in the second half, Phoenix has kind of been dictating the play a little bit more in the second half.
I will agree with you. I'll also say that the Ulysee handlers have dictated the play in a very negative manner. It hasn't been receiver error so far yet.
It's been throwaways. Just
throwaways, and I mean we've seen swings directly into defensive players. We've seen just direct throwaways, blades, and it might have been forced by pressure by Phoenix, but I think it's just been good upfield pressure, and these Ulysee guys have been here before. They've been in bigger games than this. They've been in nationals last year. There is no way they should be running into this sort of pressure.
We have a call in the field that's being discussed between Matt Hogle and the Montreal player. Linda Kudo has helped settle it out. Montreal's taking possession.
So just coming back to that, in terms of pressure, they know how to deal with this.
Yeah. Good break pass to Jean-Lévis Champagne.
10 call down. Is that Matt Berg that called it?
I think it's Matt Hogle, number 28.
Oh, okay.
But they're letting it go, and Jean-Lévis is going to take it.
So
being marked by John Haig. John, an extremely skilled offensive player. He's taking some D-line reps here, which kind of shows the depth of Phoenix's D-line right now. They've had a lot of players stepping in and keeping all the players fresh for the next shift. Boy, does not seem to be, from our vantage point, there does not seem to be a lot of open space for Montreal on the fourth side.
No, you've got a lot of very simple cutting. Ulysses setting up almost entirely for handle cuts. And almost entirely they're setting up for hammercuts and then going for the hucks off of that. Mids are being used as maybe easy resets. Phoenix is doing a very good job of not trying to give anything up the middle. And that's paying off for them so far.
So Ray Arteaga with the foul. Let's check back in. Montreal continuing to use the bails, continuing to try and be patient and punch this one in. Nice up the line. Reynald Nemours with a big backhand huck. Can the Montreal player get there in time? Oh! It looks like there was a foul call on that. Andy Corey does not agree. They're going to talk about it. The observer's there just in case he needed. They're discussing it.
And they're going to him.
They're going to him.
They're going to Ken.
Ken Lang.
Sideline sentiment, or observer, non-observer, I mean spectator sentiment is to go back.
So he's the Montreal player is arguing that he had possession and then it was stripped out of his
And it's a turn.
contract. Ken Lang rules it a turnover.
You don't want to risk it.
Matt Hogel going to pick up the disc, take it up to the line. Matt has it in his right hand. He's actually a lefty. Just causing a little bit of confusion for the marker. Dan Turcotte, big huck, flick huck. John Haig with a great grab on the end zone line. Looking for someone to pass it off to on the outside. And marked in for the point.
That's a big break. That's a
Big throw by Dan Turco, big grab by John Haig.
And right there, you can see defensive effort. Huge layout D right there in the end zone in front of us. It was a 2-on-1 against the defender, and the Ottawa player got that D. Just so much heart right now.
Andy Corey wears a mouth guard because he goes to work when he plays Frisbee.
No, but as we've said, since down 3, as you got that now, 12-2 since then.
Yeah, 12-2 since they were down by 3-0 and called a timeout. So pretty incredible stuff from the local team, Phoenix.
It looks like it's going to be a Phoenix victory. What does it mean to them to win at home, but also in many ways a tournament without GOAT?
Well, I think that this is outside of GOAT's participation, and many of the GOAT players have been dedicated participants in No Borders over the years. I think winning No Borders it speaks to who the best players in Eastern Canada are. And if you're able to win at home in front of all the home fans, I mean, this is the 28th year of the tournament. So outside of nationals, this is one of the premier tournaments. It's kind of the measuring stick of where you're at going into nationals. So you got a month out. You're going to go back after this. If Phoenix were able to win it, they say, okay, we won under pressure. We won against some very good guys, and this is what we need to work on. But this is what we can feel good because we won our own tournament. We've got our name on that trophy once again. And despite being an excellent team every year, they haven't had the chance to win it because teams like GOAT come in they are extremely strong. So the challenge to win it is hard every year.
As you said, Eastern Canada team, great to see them come and play, and especially against these really great Eastern Canada teams, especially from Quebec. It really points to what would we have seen if Mephisto was Mephisto of the past.
Oh, as in if this Ulysses was combined with Mephisto's current roster?
Yeah.
I think you would have seen an extremely close point-for-point game like Phoenix and Mephisto every single year. But I think we expected that anyways with the players that were playing in today's game for Ulysses. I don't know if it was they got tired or they had a good time last night. I don't know. But they definitely at some point in time they stopped being able to make easy throws and started throwing some hucks that were a little bit ill-advised with the wind that's picked up. And I don't think it's any condemnation on how they are as players. I think sometimes you just get into a game, the game flows a certain way, and it goes in favor of one team more than the other, and Phoenix has really taken advantage of that.
Absolutely. There's nothing to take away from Phoenix's game today.
I think the big thing for GOAT, which participated last year as GOAT and one of the strongest teams to ever play at No Borders, they've played as multiple teams in the past at No Borders, just to make things a little bit more interesting in terms of the finals, and for players to get a little bit more experience playing in different roles. And I think it's always great to see GOAT, but it's also nice to see a final where you don't know who's going to win.
Yeah. And I think we should say that we expected this game to be a lot closer, right? Like, I think everyone expected this game to be a lot closer, and on paper it should be a lot closer. But that we don't actually have that at this point is a bit of an issue, and we should just say that wasn't actually a point.
Yep.
Are they calling it back due to a travel?
I think that is the case. I think it involves Ryan Bauer right now. He's discussing it with Christian Mathieu.
Yeah, it just not a good throw there either.
Yeah. So Christian Mathieu will look to get it off the line, up the line. It's caught for the point. And Ulysee, or Montreal, has scored to make it
13-5. First point for Ulysee in this.
I believe it's 12-6.
12-6. I apologize. 12-6. My eyesight is going. Yes, 12-6 here in the second half, but Ulysee with their first point in the second half.
Do we have a final score from the mixed game? Yeah. 15-8 the final in the mixed finals of No Borders for Unite from Montreal over Mud from Guelph.
Yeah, and that's even I'm very close to Guelph. That is a little bit of an expected result. Guelph has developed quite well in the last few years. They still have a ways to go. Very young team for most of the team.
Now, does that team benefit strongly from a contingent of Guelph University players?
They do. They have quite a few former players. They've even picked up some UW players.
Okay.
It's really, if you're going to look at it, it's a young team. It's a #1 mixed team out of that area, and especially since Liquid folded quite a few years ago. Mud is its own team, though. Very much, I believe 2 Liquid players in total from that team, and the younger Liquid players, so not core members.
Here's some quick movement by Phoenix. There's a zone by Montreal. Colin Froats with the disc. Swings it over to Bryce Ring. Ring looks over to Scotty Westwell. Scotty Westwell, nice move. Passes over to Bryce Ring. Ring right on the sideline, looking to get it off. Nice backhand from the long, lanky Bryce Ring. Over to Luke Phelan. Phelan looking for a crash underneath. Doesn't see it, gives it over to Froats. Froats looking back to Phelan. Phelan, nice over the top. Carl Loiseau, great grab. Carl looking to get it off the line. He does. Luke Phelan back to Bryce Ring. Ring to Westwell. Westwell now looking for Bryce Ring. Ring to Ken Alexander. Alexander looking. Oh, quick pass. Westwell gets it to Ring. Back to Carl Loiseau. Carl's got to get it off. Stall count was high. He hucks it high. Is it going to stay in? Quick! Colin Froats with the grab. Yeah. Leon Forrest, no. And it looks like there's some sort of call on the
call
field.
back on the play.
Whoa. The crowd loves the great effort from Colin Froats. As a handler hustling down the field, being the shortest guy in that pile up, and managed to come down with the disc.
A very biased crowd, by the way, if I may add here. Local group.
I can't.
Ellen making excuses for Andrew.
I can't say that there's any animosity toward the Montreal guys. I mean, there's lots of guys on this team that have played the 4-on-4 tournaments, including the one in Ottawa, and just have general extremely likable personalities, like a Jean-Lévy Champagne. I mean, just a very, very good leader for Montreal Ultimate, and always somebody I enjoy seeing on the field. So
I completely agree. I believe this is a hometown crowd.
Here's a throw. They're going to do it again. Colin. No! Someone deflected it before he had a chance.
That was a great D. Incredibly good vertical. We've just seen 2 great back-to-back plays there by receivers and D.
Carl Loiseau thought that that catch was so great he wanted to try and do it again. So
there's no one here.
Here, give and go. Looking up. There it is. There's the pass for the point.
And just like that,
it's 12-7.
You'll see starting to come back in the second half, but it might be a little bit too late.
Now the big question is, how close to the cap are we? Yep.
So here we go, 12-7. Ulysee with great defensive play there, forcing the huck. We had Froats come down with it in an incredible 3-on-2 situation. And then also we had a great D, I believe, by Christian Mathieu at that point as well, with fantastic vertical. I think both Jack and I appreciated that very much, considering, well, Jack more so because he can actually pull that off and has something to aspire to.
So Montreal is getting ready to pull.
We had great patience there as well.
Score is 12-7. They're able to get a quick turn here. It comes 12-8. Maybe there's a little bit more pressure, but there's a 5-point cushion for Phoenix right now as we speak. That's a nice pull. Not sure if it's going to stay in bounds. Yes, it will. Wow, very, very good pull by Montreal. And here comes the Phoenix O. Middle of the disc, middle of the field for Bryce Ring. Swings it off. Nice. Back into the middle. Kenny Alexander, another scoober. He loves those scoobers. Yeah. Pass is caught by Bryce Ring. He swings it across to Froats. Froats to the outside to Leon. Leon to Carl. Back to the middle to Froats. Bryce Ring. Puts it out, and it is not caught. The ball. Caught by Montreal.
Very easy O there once
Great
Ulysee
swing.
had it.
Great swing off the sideline. And now we've got 12-8. 4-point difference in favor of Phoenix.
We've seen think it's just a line change call for Phoenix. What's happened in the last few points? We had a little bit of uncertainty, just like we had with Ulysee in the first half.
It's an interesting point. We'll be interested to see who they send out on offense for Phoenix here, because I think they feel as though they need to get the break to stop the momentum for Montreal. So right now we've got Ray Arteaga. We've got Captain John Hagg. We've got Dan Turco. We've got Matt Cole. We've got Andy Corey, Matt Hogel, and Matt Goodkey. So we've got quite a bit of experience on the line here. We've got some good handlers. We can expect Montreal to probably try that junk zone. Phoenix was moving the disc very well. There's just a couple of untimely turnovers, but if they continue to dump and swing like they did in the past 2 points, and stay patient, I'm assuming they'll be able to break that zone and melt it into a man-to-man.
I think what we had there was, once again, the wind kind of pushed that hammer a little bit, and both sides just weren't quite used to it.
Great pull, lands in. Turco is able to make a quick pass upfield to Andy Corey. It's a junk zone again. Dan Turco makes a nice easy pass to Hogel. Matt Cole crashing in. Ray Artiego also crashing in. He gets the disc. Oh, Big D, Jean-Lévi Champagne. And there's going to be a little bit of discussion about whether or not that was a foul call.
Linda wanting to get involved here, not really, but they'll be ready to. Linda and Ken had great views on that play.
Yeah.
And they're going to send it back to Ray. Both players acknowledging they were very close on that.
And the supposed biased Ottawa crowd does not like that call. It's going back to the thrower.
Almost feels like on that one you do want to go to the observer because the advantage in field position is so little that the defense would have everything to gain.
It's hard to think that while you're hot and sweaty from playing, but so the disc is on the sideline. Dan Turco has it. Turco looking, gets it to Matt Hogel. Lefty huck deep. Oh,
bit of a
John
drop
Haig with a
and
chance
a foul
to score.
call.
But fortunately for Phoenix, the disc is coming back. Hogel with a nice catch up the line, and you could see him step out. He really wanted to put that throw out.
I think they're going to want to go to the observer here on that. And they're not. We're going to go to zeros here. Bit of noise here. Yes.
This is in the middle. Matt Cole. Cole to Andy Corey. Heavily guarded. Some fierce marking from Montreal right now. Really putting the push on. Ill-advised Scuba. Jean-Lévi Champagne.
And a foul called on that. And boos from the sideline again. I think this is just, we want good ultimate.
I think so. I think the fans...
and it's being called off. No foul call. And because they're waving it off, they still have to head back to that point.
Okay.
And there's Linda waving a no call.
Good spirit on the part of Andy and the Montreal player. Christian Mathieu with the disc.
Very cloggy. It's
Artiego with a good hard mark. Ulysee looking to move it. Big throw. Still in bounds. Mathieu with the disc and the score. John Haig slipped. Hopefully he is all right.
A little bit of incidental contact on that play. And good way to power through for Ulysee there. Christian just got it. Now we're tied up 4-4 in the second half.
12-9 is the score.
It's very interesting here. Ulysee going to take a chance to, but they're putting basically the same line right back on. They're already short players, but it's the last game of the tournament. Chance to win no borders. They can drive through here, and they need to get close in order to even have a shot at this. They'll be tired by the time they get to 12s or 13s or 14s, but hopefully they have the energy.
I guess the concern is that they have to go for it now, because if they don't go for it now, there might not be something to strategize for later on. You know, they need their absolute best line out there, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of defense that they throw out at Phoenix. First one was on Phoenix, yeah. Yeah. So that was an offside call on Montreal, Ulysee. It was their first offside warning. Both teams have one offside warning in this game. So that calls for a restart. re-pull.
Which was helpful because I was eating a taco and totally was unprepared to come and work the camera.
How was the field food at the tournament, Tushar, based on your experience?
It was actually quite good. Just having a Nutella or the cookies. There were cookies here, and that was a big part. And then having the food that we could actually purchase as well was great.
Cool.
I think I need a pizza though. I need something fatty after this, as I played yesterday.
Cool.
Burger and Shakes.
Burger and Shakes. Located about
maybe 5 minutes
5
from here.
minutes
Yeah.
away, yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who come to Ottawa and come to UPI, there's a driving range here that has burgers and shakes and real ice cream shakes. They're fantastic, and I think after every day here, there's a lineup there.
Yeah.
I think even after your league play, you guys do league out here, right?
Yeah.
Field conditions were good. I mean, across the rest of Ontario right now, in drought conditions, it's been dirt we've been playing on.
Yeah.
So I think all us touring players, we definitely appreciate that you guys have fields here.
There's a call on the play that's call on the field that's being disputed right now. What was your thoughts? Were you in North Bay for regionals, and what were your thoughts on the new fields?
Unfortunately, I was out in Japan at the time for Worlds.
Oh, okay.
However, I've heard good things. They benefited from having turf.
Okay. Colin Froats with the disc. He gets it up to Bryce Ring. Bryce Ring scoop over the top. Carl Loiseau has caught the disc. I think he might be calling a foul on that. He seems to have a bit of discomfort in his shoulder or his elbow. It's gone now. Ready to check the disc in. Leon Forrest now, big, strong player. Gets the pass out to Luke Phelan. Luke Phelan looking. He gets it to Bryce Ring. To Carl Loiseau. Oh, great catch, Kenny Alexander. Bryce Ring swings it. Scotty Westwell for the point.
Great movement by Phoenix there, especially in the red zone. There was a lot of pressure, and they were very good. There was dedication by the offense there, especially with the layout from that swing by Carl.
Extremely nice cut in the end zone for handler Scott Westwell. Good field sense to make sure that he made the grab and made sure he was in on that catch.
Score now 13-9. This is still within Ulysses' grasp at this point. I think we've all played games where we've come back from this sort of deficit as well. And in fact, if you've ever played against Prodigy, you know it's very easy to come back at this score against them. A little bit of dig against Prodigy. They know who I am and they know where to find me, but it's worth it. So, Steven, at this point in the game,
Yes.
what does Ulysses have to do?
Well, scoring on that point would have been great. But failing that, I think they need to just come with nice underneath offense. I don't think their long game has been working that well, except for hucks that are coming off of the break throws, if available. So I would look them to just work it down much similar to what they did before. And if they're able to do that, they got to try something on defense that will cause some quick turnovers. High pressure defense, whether it be a pressurized zone or maybe some very, very tough man-to-man. But you can't worry about next point. Just get this point, and then you can strategize about what you're going to do.
Sun's back out here as well. We did have a bit of cloud cover earlier. That's kind of gone away.
Montreal moving the disc back and forth, not gaining a lot of yards yet. Looking for that breakthrow, and they got it. That leads to a big huck pass. Christian Mathieu, he's got a lot, and he caught it. Wow, what a grab. What a continuation throw. The quick point coming off the break vertical. Wow.
There's a lot of
13-10.
intensity and energy coming off of that point from Ulysee, and that's what they need. They need to get fired up right now. But let's not forget, that was an offensive point. You were expected to score there, right? And at this point in the game, it's 13-10. They've dug themselves out of a hole. They've dug themselves out of a hole so far. But Phoenix, 2 points away. Ulysee 5 points away. It's still tough, but if they get one more turn, if they get a break here, everything's in the air. Completely everything's in the air, even though it's a 2-4 deficit.
After 4 years of being tournament director and dealing with television coverage of the finals, one of the biggest things that causes a lot of headaches for TV networks that aren't used to the game is the whole concept of soft cap versus hard cap. No cap. So they're gonna play to 15. Excellent. Gonna play to 15, win to 2. So,
wow.
Advantage Montreal. They don't have the same sort of time crunch that we thought they did. They're going to play to the game of 15. The winning team must win by 2. Phoenix really moving the disc well on offense here.
They're
Throws
deep in their
to
end zone
ring.
right now, though.
Yeah. Up the line, Luke Phelan.
I'd just like to point out the great fitness that these Ulysee players have right now. They've been playing zone often, and they're still playing it right now.
Wow, great catch by Carlos, though. That was hotly contested by Jean-Lévis Champagne. He is very good at judging of throws and making plays on defense. It's a real disc hawk out there. Scott Westwell. Leon Forrest, no. That is a throwaway by Scotty Westwell. Sorry, Montreal is going to get the disc at their own end zone line.
So a lot of pressure here. This is good to see from Ulysee. I'd also like to point out that Andrew Batchelor calling a travel from up here, but no one on the field hearing him. So unfortunately, if they'd heard him, the play would have stopped and they wouldn't have thrown it away.
Oh boy. Callahan, Luke Phelan! Phoenix scores a Callahan, Luke Phelan. And the score is now 14-10.
14-10.
What a huge catch by Luke Phelan on the defense. A tough mark on the disc. The throw was very, very high and lofty. Phelan read it, caught it on Jean-Lévis Champagne. Not much Champagne could do on that throw. And now Phoenix is 1 point away from winning the game and the No Borders Championship for 2012.
All right, so 14-10 game point here. Callahan, great. Just want to point out in the other field, I believe GT won 15-9.
Okay.
So strong program there. Great to see.
And was there any stronger GOAT pickups for this tournament for GT, or was this completely the GT program itself?
I believe they did have a couple of pickups, and they're taking those pickups and they're going to take them to nationals as well.
Okay. Surprising to see Roy not at this tournament. Were they playing in Cleveland or Detroit or another event?
I think that would make sense if they were at Motown. I think Motown is
this weekend as well.
Is this weekend as well, which is interesting.
Break throw up the line, wide open throw, continuation. Montreal moving it, looking for another hook. Oh, caught!
But not in.
Not in. Oh, wow. First Andy Corey with an attempted D, and then Matt Hogle got so close. Matt Hogle nicknamed the Scorpion years ago for his ability to lay out in the air, legs curled back. And we just saw the Scorpion move on that play.
All very close, and great heads-up play there to know and to look at the observer to see that they weren't in. There was a lot of intensity. In fact, he turned around and it looked like he might spike it at any moment. And it's one of those times where you're just happy that he looked at the observer. So here we are, 14-11 now. And it's every point now is do or die for Ulysee. Nothing drives a team quite like that. But it also may take the edge off for Phoenix here. Might make them play a little bit more calmly and just have a very clean point where they don't take any risks.
This Montreal line has played a lot of minutes. They have played a lot of points here in this final. They're just looking to extend it by one more point.
Just need to keep going. They need to get to 14, or yeah, 14.
I think we have to give a lot of credit in this zone to Jean-Lévis Champagne, who's sitting in the back much like a football safety or a cornerback. I mean, he is really, really good at reading the play and making some excellent defensive attempts.
So it's coming back to the middle here. Both observers that were on that line called it out. So they'll be starting at the brick over here in the center of the field. It's going to be tough for Ulysee. They've been playing that great junk zone, and it'd be nice to see that again.
Champagne playing the mid position in this zone. Scuba attempt. Wow, wide open. Carl Loiseau. He's looking to Luke Phelan. Not in yet. Kenny Alexander.
It's a pick call that's going to just slow down the play a little bit, but we've got this over here on the right, wide open. A really nice fast blade in there. My preferred throw might not be the best route to go, but would certainly get the job done.
Look for number 18, Leon Forsnow, to get involved here. They're going to get it off into the middle. Oh, not in, not in. Bryce Ring on the line.
And there's been a travel call.
Okay. Wow, that was almost the end right there.
Being told from the peanut gallery that the paper point was inside the end zone.
Bryce Ring. There's the throw to Carl Loiseau. Looking for Ken Alexander. Alexander to Carl Loiseau. Leon. Now it's Ken Alexander again. Alexander left-handed to Carl Loiseau. To Leon Forsnow, number 18, with the point. Wow, what a nice offensive play, moving it side to side. Lots of little passes. And No Borders 2012 will be won by a local team, Phoenix.
That's
This is their first title in Ottawa at No Borders since 2008. And before that, their last title was in 2004. This is the third time that they've won the tournament.
You win every year. That's divisible by 4, it seems. But that's an incredibly good final there and good win for Phoenix. Congratulations to them. Just quick discussion there on that last point. As pointed out by the gallery, we had a switch in force there. And that certainly seemed to work for a little bit there as well. And that switch in force changed tactics for Phoenix, or forced them to change tactics. So just really good to see that pressure and from Ulysee, and that even on the line, we thought it was in a couple times, and they managed to keep it going and just extending that game a little bit more.
Mhm.
So great to see, and we're looking forward to seeing this team at nationals.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it seems a lot of the other teams will be making it, and it's a little bit disappointing, but that happens, I guess, right?
I think an excellent game today. I mean, a lot of great factors. We had great fans. We had great weather. We had two very, very strong teams. So we saw some interesting defensive play. We saw some great offensive plays. We saw some not so great offensive decisions. But I think in the end, Phoenix was a very worthy candidate to win the championship this year because they were able to really use their entire roster from top to bottom in the game as opposed to only relying on a couple of players, especially on defense. They were able to, play defense by committee, and they had some great performances.
Yeah, it was a great final to see. It was great to see Phoenix come back as they did.
If you had to pick out an MVP, it's often very hard in this case, but if you had an MVP for both teams, who would you suggest?
I would say, well, for Montreal, Jean Levy was by far one of the players that was definitely consistently good. Yes, he had his own errors, but I think he was on basically the whole game. For Phoenix, I'm going to say, and might be a little bit unorthodox, I would say Carl.
I agree completely.
Okay,
I was actually going to say that Carl was number 6, I believe, was constantly an open cut underneath for Phoenix in their offense, and on defense he was quite strong when called upon. I thought there was a lot of strong performances on the Phoenix side, but it definitely I would agree with you that Carl was probably the MVP for that game.
Yeah, he was just working those unders, completely calm the whole time. And I've seen this guy come up and join the program 3 years ago, lead a university team very strongly, like just create it out of thin air and take him to CUC, and he's just continued to develop. It'll be exciting to see where he goes. I definitely think that in a few years' time, if he continues, he might have to move to one of those big cities, ultimate centers, but definitely Team Canada material.
Just because of his ability to play a number of different roles and to be able to do it very fast.
Yeah,
and
and
his speed is incredibly impressive.
And he's still young.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's still a lot of room for development for him, and that's what's going to happen. Jean Levy, I don't think there's much room in development for him. I think, in fact, he's peaked, and but he's been peaking for quite some time, and I hope he keeps peaking. But, yes, he's also Team Canada material, and I think he has been Team Canada.
He's a great player, great leadership, and we'll see what he can do with Odyssey at Nationals this year.
So Stephen, thank you for joining here in the broadcast. Do you have any final any thoughts here?
I just want to say thank you very much, Tushar, for doing this on behalf of No Borders. I want to thank all the people from the Ottawa Carleton Ultimate Association, over 50 volunteers that helped out with the tournament, Andrew Batchelor and the other people that kind of stepped up. As I said, I'm a new dad, so I wasn't able to be the tournament director as in past years. But I've been working with this group to kind of change the format, and it's really paid off. We have an extremely great turnout this year with 53 teams. And for all of you that are listening to this event and you're not here, make sure you send in a bid for next year. And we'd like to see representation from all different places. Prince Edward Island being an example. We've had Newfoundland, Winnipeg. We've had the Atlantic provinces of Halifax. We've had New York, Boston represented. So we want more people from more provinces and states to come. And thank you very much, Tushar, for streaming this online and letting people see the quality of the fields and the quality of the action.
No worries, thank you. I put up the sponsors again. Just again, want to thank Ottawa Carleton Ultimate Association, Akua, one of the big drivers in Ultimate for, I would think, decades now. At least 30 years, the Ottawa region's been very important for Ultimate in Canada, and I think Ultimate in general. There's so many players around the world that come here and they play and they learn so much and they go away somewhere else in the world, and that's very important for development. I'd also like to thank, as always, Ultimate Canada, just being the uniting force that we have in this country, and behind Ultimate, and really putting forward 5 great nationals teams to Worlds, and that we medaled and had coaches and representation from all over Canada on those teams. Absolutely fantastic. So congratulations to those teams as well, just from Worlds. And I'll have my recaps for Worlds up soon. And also, just thank you to the volunteers here. I had a chance to have some burger and shakes with them yesterday, And without volunteers, we can't really do anything. But we should also remember that pretty much everyone involved in the sport right now is a volunteer. There's very few people who do the sport and get paid for it, but every single person involved is very passionate about it, and that's why we keep getting bigger, and that's why this live broadcast shall keep getting better, and our tournaments will get better. Finally, definitely sign up for No Borders next year. Next year is a Worlds qualification year for 2014. Now, the two bids that I've heard that could have gotten or could not have gotten are Seattle or Italy, and in northern Italy. So it's very important for 2014 that whatever teams go get started early, and 2013 is that early year. In fact, 2012 is that early year. By developing our players forward in 2013 and encountering teams from the East, especially Quebec teams, we are going to get better overall. And that's going to be just incredibly important for sending strong teams to Worlds wherever they may be. So No Borders should be on your itinerary. Screw the, pardon the language, but screw the number of teams. Put in a bid early and make it part of your competitive cycle. It's not worth it to go to Motown on a weekend when it conflicts with No Borders. In Motown, you're not really going to get the competition that you're going to face at Nationals, which is going to let you qualify to go forward. Sorry to Motown for that. I know I have a lot of friends there as well, but it's very important for Canadian Ultimate that you be here. Same thing, we got to improve our juniors program. And this is a good way to do it. Play more tournaments. If you're here, then you could possibly coach a juniors team as well. Finally, thank you to the viewers. I hope you enjoyed. Look for these finals to go up on YouTube, at least the women's final from starting partway through the first half and the open finals all the way through. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next year.
Don't worry, don't forget the script.
We're gonna get this stuff?
Yeah. Yannicka.
Ha ha ha.